Club NGMI.
We're so glad you made it. As you guys can see, we have no Dingy tonight, but we got Gump. Gump's joining us on the stream today. We still have the other 4, so we're going forward. NFTs, they don't sleep, so we're still here this week. So I'll just go around the horn real quick. Babs, how's it going tonight?
Good. No dad here, so that's kind of nice. We can shit talk a little more. I'm a grinder now, so yeah, I was grinding some whitelists today. I grinded one that I was like trying really hard for. They wouldn't give us any special treatment. I was doing all the Twitter giveaways. Finally, they opened up the Discord, and I got in there. Really happy. Didn't have to send 1,000 messages. We even know the guy that's making the project, and he couldn't give us any special treatment. But it was nice. It was nice to get on a whitelist. Try to get on one every couple days.
He's big timing us now.
Yeah, he's too important because he has his own project.
Yeah, he's sick. He's actually working on the project.
Can we shout out hot dogs or hot Dugs?
Hot Dugs.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
You have one as your PFP on Discord.
No, I changed it because I didn't want to look biased. So, but yeah, it's like, Dangy doesn't like talking about it, but he's not here, so we can do whatever we want. We should maybe bring it up later and show the people because I actually really like them. I like the art. It's like they make good PFPs. They're cool looking. Like I wouldn't say that if it was just because it was Dangy. Like I'd care less if it's Dangy's project. I'm saying it because I actually like them. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, we'll get to it. But NFTs are crazy this week.
Yeah.
It's been wild. The sadness of last week kind of fades when the rest of the market's pumping. Like Ethereum's not back, but if NFTs keep pumping, I won't complain too much.
Yeah. Trey, you got your new merch over there.
Yeah.
You're showing.
Yeah. Finally got the Peaceful Groupies merch, the little hat, and then the sweatshirt action, showing it off finally. So. Ended up working out kind of well because I got the free racing sweatshirt, which is nice and comfortable. So I'm wearing that around the house here lately, and then obviously got this just in the mail here this week. So ended up working out pretty well on my end.
Yeah, and then we got Gump tonight filling in for Dangy. Yeah. How's it going over there, Gump?
It's been good. The NFT streets. I feel like I jump back and forth between Club DeFi and Club NFT, but I'm guessing if we looked at the amount of messages posted in each of those threads, it would be significantly different this week. I'm trying to live the grinder lifestyle now. It's painful.
Yeah.
It's so brutal. Those guys just post stuff so often, and I go in, like I've added 10 new Discords today, and I don't even know what they are.
Oh my gosh.
But I've also learned don't leave them. I used to do this thing where I would leave one because I was tired of the notifications. And one of those was Small Brains. So never doing that again.
Yeah.
I was in it
all the time.
So early, like there was less than 1,000 people in it. And I left it. And then like a month later, they're talking about Small Brains. I'm like, dude, I was in that. And it bugged me. So I'm just letting it ride now. I'm letting the little red circles collect and just going to go with it. So
how do you bother checking them anymore? Like I have 6,000. I just leave them. Yeah. Like I just hope someone tells me if it's something important because I can't manage it anymore. Like I'm at 200 Discords constantly now.
Dude, right? I did that like 4 or 5 times where I go and leave a Discord and then I swear to God, it's like the next day, all of a sudden, like there's some big announcement and all of a sudden, I'm like, oh shit, I was just in that Discord. So that happened like 4 or 5 times for me. And then I was like, all right, I think that's just a sign that the grinder's life just isn't for me. So I kind of, hung it up after those. You guys are taking the opposite approach and just being like, I'm never leaving these. And I was like, I'm just never joining these anymore.
I dump them all in the same folder. So then I have one folder that holds 60 notifications and the other ones I'll have like less. The ones that I want to notice if one pops up on, so that's kind of how I've been doing it. I don't know. It's still a mess though.
Yeah. I got to get organized.
It's been tough, but I'm going to try my best to be a grinder.
The worst notifications are like when people do at everyone in like a general channel. I wish you could have it where it doesn't even pop up a number unless it's an announcements. If it's like just announcements, I could go through those. It's just when you have like, what was that one recently? Well, Fortune Friends has had a lot.
Well, some of them get hacked, right? Hacked. Yeah, they had a hack. I wish all the only ones I want to read are announcements relating to either wallet submission, when the mint is. Like, you don't do announcements otherwise, right? Like, I want to know, like,
that's the worst.
Four things I should be pinged for. Yeah, like I don't need to see every tweet. I want to know, how do I get on the whitelist? When's your mint? And do I need to submit my wallet? Right?
Yep.
Like,
I pretty much turn notifications off for every single Discord. Like suppress everybody, suppress here, mute thread until I turn back on. Unless it's like something I know I'm going to be in and interested in and want to be seeing updates and stuff. Yeah, I just make it so I can't get notifications from that Discord.
Yeah.
I've been trying to be more, I'm totally not organized. I use 0 folders. I have 200 Discords. Yeah. But ever since like I forgot to do the Gojira wallet submission, I'm like, it's like I think that has a 16 Ethereum floor now. Like I'm just like dreading never trying to miss a wallet again, right? So like, yeah, it's the new meta. Like you kind of have to get used to it, but it is like I need to find a way to get more organized because I am brutal.
I hate it. I hate it so much. Nobody enjoys this meta, right? Like people enjoyed Gas Wars. Like no, people tolerate this. They don't actually enjoy it. Like nobody likes this.
The only people that enjoy it are the people that are getting paid like $3 to $4 an hour to send messages
to grind
constantly, and it's a better job than what they were doing before, right? Like those are the only people that like it. No one else likes this, right?
But is this meta kind of over?
No.
I feel
it's
like
every single project.
There was 5 things
like
today.
The current meta isn't the current meta second guy, and it's kind of like second guying Blue Chips at 5 ETH because they're all going to 15 ETH.
Yes.
Hasn't that been like the current meta? Like
that's what I've been doing,
like
actually.
What's the last mint that was whitelist this past week that's above like a 1 ETH floor? Have there been many? Like the Killer Girlfriend one went way up, but that wasn't like a whitelist.
Azuna, the zip keys. Like there's a lot. Like there's a few.
Azuna's I'm mad I missed.
I'm not even trying to hit home runs with the whitelist stuff, but I mean, there was those Stoner Apes. That was another one I left Babs the day before it minted. Those were like 0.4 or 0.5, and you could mint a couple of them, right?
No, only one, but still, it was like a 0.5 win, right? Like,
but to join a Discord, you just have to put up with it on the left side of your screen, and then the mint day comes, and you get half an ETH, and like you didn't have to do anything, you didn't have to try. So if you just do like 20 of those over a month, it's 10 ETH that you just have to click some Discords. Like, trust me, I hate it. I hate doing it, but I've stop being stubborn and just like having to do it.
Realized like
what's the extent? So like out of the 10 Discords you joined today, Gump, how many? Like, what was the average amount of time that you spent in each one of those? Would you say? And did you get whitelist?
30 seconds, probably.
Yeah.
And you got whitelist in every single one of them.
So some of them are. I would say I got a for sure whitelist on like 8 of them. Some of them aren't always clear, so that's where I struggle with. Is like you can go down a rabbit hole pretty quickly. And like, okay, I have to do this, and then I have to collab land, then make sure I get my role, and then is there a wallet submission? But usually when the guys post it, they give you directions, so I just follow the directions. But and I always go in the chat after I do all the steps, and I type one time because in Ether Ores. Another one I missed because I didn't type in the damn chat.
I always do a GIF. I always slide in. I always slide in with a crazy GIF. I'm just like, yep, here we are. I'm here.
Yeah.
The only ones I do, Trey, are the ones that you join. Like if you're the first 1,000 to join and you get an OG like whitelist role.
Yeah.
So like I'll do those ones. The other ones I'll do are ones that like I collab lab verify that I have an NFT, and then I'll get whitelist. And a lot of those are like Bored Ape, Mutant Ape. Like if you have Cool Cat or Doodle, like there's a lot of whitelists for those ones. So always try and do those ones. They take 10 seconds. The other ones I'll do is if it's like a below 10 invite requirement, I'll like send it to, I'll rug my friends and try and get my
I
friend,
hate-
my
I
friends
hate-
to
I hate
join.
when
So
you
I'll
do
rug
And
them. But
I am not gonna beg for invites. Like I'm not gonna be that
that's
guy.
those are the only ones I'll
I
do.
know.
I'm never sending more than
Oh.
2 messages in the Discord. Like those are the only ones I'll
Yeah.
do. But like if you do it consistent enough, like you're gonna join 10 Discords, probably like 8 out of 10 are dusty. But you
Yeah.
might get two that mint, once every 10 days, and you get a free Ethereum, right? Like it's easy money. Like it's the meta. Like so if you want to play the game, like otherwise you're not minting anything these days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it takes
I would agree
one-
with that.
It takes one small brains like to get on a whitelist like that where it pays off your whole time investment for the last month because it's at the peak 5-6+ floor for those. I think Pete
You
was
got-
saying the other night. So I'm not saying I like it, but I'm gonna do it because I know it's profitable and I have the tools to make it happen. So and it helps that all the DeFi stuff's kind of simmered down after last week. So I'm spending less time on that. But
Yeah. No, it's just hard to get. What I also don't like about it, I would grind a lot more if I could get like 10 mints, right? Like I could get 0.7 to an ETH down, but most of the time you're only like these mints are like 0.06 or what, even if they are 0.2, like you're getting three mints and you get, 0.6 in, and it's like, well, it's just such a tedious grind that it's hard.
How rich is this guy? Eh? Like doesn't like his 0.3 to 0.6.
Well, no-
It's like
That's
we're
it,
clicking
that's
some buttons. We're clicking some buttons. Jeez.
freaking Discord whitelists.
Yeah, so like that's kind of been the whitelist has been kind of a thing for like a month now, where that was the only way to get in on things, but it seems like there's less. Like it used to be all these like crap projects popping up every day. Seems like we're getting less like random, I don't know if we want to call them like spam projects, but there aren't like all these 10 doodle derivatives in a day anymore. It seems like even the lower end projects coming out now have been like built out. So, I mean, I think that's a good thing, right? Or there are these like Instagram 150,000 followers that pop up out of nowhere that we haven't heard about because we weren't following. So, I don't know. It's kind of like both sides of it. Are you guys doing any of those like in the Grinders channel? Are you getting in on any of those like Instagram drops?
I find all those ones are like grinds for whitelist. Like, most of them are like you have to send 1,000 messages to get on, unless it's we'll whitelist these collections for NFTs, right? So like I haven't been doing any of that, but to me they all look the same, and I find some of those are failing now. Like the newest Board Bunny one, they did another collection, like that one failed. There was another Ape Wives one that I was whitelisted on, and that one like dusted in like 10 minutes. So like I think that meta's kind of like fading a bit. Like I think the people are catching on to it's the same team pumping out a new project every week, right?
Yeah.
There's less stuff I find on the highway anymore that it pops up. We can all mint it right away and it does well. Those just like anything I see with a lot of volume, I'll go in there and all the transactions are like mint whitelist, mint pre-sale. So you're kind of out. And then it's basically like whitelist or nothing because we can't fight over the scraps, right? We figured that out. There's less than 2,000 left for something that has a high floor. We're just like dust. I haven't hit a single one of
unless
those.
it's
There's no chance unless you overpay.
Unless it's a really good, or unless it's like a really good project that you act like an Azuki, where it's like this is just you got to pay what you got to pay to get it.
Yeah, but then you might as well buy off of OpenSea half the time at that point.
Yeah,
right?
that's
because you're paying
Letting
more
you-
gas than what you could have got on the OpenSea at the time.
Market's
right?
maturing, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, going off of the market maturing, like, we guys think it like Babs was saying, like last week's show, we were all kind of like down sad. We're talking about crypto basically down like 40-50%. But now, like this week, all these NFTs are back up 2-3x. So they're kind of balancing out. Do you think that a lot of that has to do with the price of Ethereum being down, or do you think it's just more people in the market and just more transactions, people now interested in getting into NFTs?
I think it's like a combination of both. Like when Ethereum price is lower, people have a easier time mentally spending that money on NFTs, especially when it's been pretty level for the last week, right? Like it's not dipping down too low. It's not jumping up too much, like, which I think's an ideal NFT environment when Ethereum basically stays flat. Like people know in their head what they're spending. If it's cheaper in US dollars, like as much as we think one Ethereum is one Ethereum, not everyone thinks like that, right? So I think it allows people to be more risk on and, put their money back into NFTs rather than, DeFi kind of took a dive. So most people kind of pivoted off of DeFi, and I think they started coming back to NFTs. So that's what makes them hotter. It's just that there's more people, there's more money in it. People are putting their Ethereum into blue chip NFTs now rather than DeFi coins, which just makes the floor of everything rocket. Like you saw this week, Azuki, Doodles, Cool Cats, all the Bored Ape collections, like all that stuff went crazy. Like all that stuff, like Clone X, like all that stuff probably went up 40% since last show, right? Like it's kind of crazy to think about. But I don't know. What do you guys think, like Gump and Trey?
I think, go ahead, Gump.
The comment you made about people selling off all of their sketchy DeFi stuff that I did a lot of that. You're in a bunch of random DeFi staking projects or whatever. And they're like, okay, I can't do that anymore. It's almost like a giant flight to safety movement. Yeah. Even for people who only did NFTs, they're fleeing to safety in the blue chips. And the people that are like even myself that pivoted to DeFi back in the NFT winter were like, okay, let's kind of go back to our roots here. Because there's a lot of people like me, I assume, that got started in crypto with NFTs, expanded to DeFi, and they're like, all right, let's go back to my little baby blanket that I'm comfortable with and buy these NFTs. So that's why I think there's so much money. I don't think it's new people. It's maybe people that haven't been here for a little bit, or they've made a shitload of money in DeFi, and now they have even more to spend on these NFTs. So
do you think it's no new people? Like I always think, Justin Bieber in NFTs now, and like he has more Twitter followers than I think almost anyone but Obama in the world. Like do you think that stuff matters? Like, do you think that's part of the reason why some of those blue chips are running a bit? Like more people feel comfortable that, oh, I see these people with 6 million followers are buying them. I guess that makes it acceptable. I can do it too. I don't know.
Let's do this. Let's play a really quick game of Laden Thinks for Babs. How many people does Babs think set up an Ethereum wallet because they saw that within 24 hours of seeing Justin Bieber's post about the ape?
Ooh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like his purchase kind of...
Who's answering?
You, Babs, because you asked the question originally. So we're going to guess how many people did Justin Bieber push to make their crypto wallet?
How many people?
Because I think it's a very good question. And I think everyone.
How many followers does he have? 6 million, did you say on Instagram?
I think it's 6 million.
I'll
look at Twitter.
Okay, well, you just said he has more than only Obama has more than him.
It's got to be more.
Well, I think only more than Obama's the only one that has more than.
He's got 219
million.
Okay, yeah, on Twitter he's got.
You need to like times it by 100.
You should have done that lot of things. I look like an idiot.
That's why I was saying.
He's got 114 million Twitter followers.
I mean, yeah, Jimmy Fallon had 50 million.
But I knew he had like the second most next to Obama. Like at least I had one part of my fact sheet right, I think.
Yeah, that's where when you said 6 million, I thought maybe you were thinking billion or something. I don't know.
I'm good whenever you guys are.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Because this applies to anybody. The whole Jimmy Fallon, Paris Hilton thing the other night, it applies
Are
to
we talking
that.
specifically Bieber or
Yeah,
how many
no, we are just
people-
talking. We're just talking about
celebrity
Justin
related?
Bieber.
Okay.
From
Just-
when he posted that Instagram post, how many people saw it, and then how many people created a MetaMask or any sort of crypto wallet based on him, on that post?
Like,
Does it have to be people they actually created the wallet, or is it they looked into NFTs because of that?
No,
post?
they made
the wallet.
Their
They
money
made a
entered
wallet.
the market because we started on this with new money in the market.
Okay.
So I said 4,000.
I said,
Don't you have to let me answer first?
You're last.
yeah, you're
50,000.
2,000.
So we're kind of aligned on this, Trey, I think.
Marquis says there isn't that many people in Canada.
Wait,
I did .001.
I had my number in my head. I forgot to write it down.
50,000?
No.
That's so many. How many?
Sorry, I had 8,000.
Okay.
We're thinking
So I
what
was-
Babs was saying.
That's
Okay,
way
you were
lower
closest.
than I thought you were going to be.
No, but like 8,000's not.
You did 4 though, Gump. Then why didn't you
Yeah.
go higher? Why did
I
you
guess-
go higher then?
I guess I was doing. I played the game wrong.
But-
That's
but
how many.
more- I think-
Okay, I was like, what?
So I don't think 8,000 is very significant, but I think people that created those wallets, that 8,000, are probably people that were looking at stuff that he bought also, right?
Yeah.
8,000 wallets is just how many wallets are interacting on OpenSea on
So-
a daily basis
I don't
now?
know.
The other thing is like Bieber I think he posted it today or yesterday he posted it like 2 days after
Yeah.
the purchase, which I thought was a little odd, but I mean, based on the post, it does seem like he chose one for himself. He says it was like something another lonely ape or something like that, and it was like
Yeah.
a play on words from one of his songs. So to me, I think he did choose one that was like crying and like a basic one on
Mhm.
purpose.
Oh, people
yeah,
were
like what-
so pissed that he spent 500 ETH on what was,
That's
I guess,
so
close
weird.
to a floor
That
ape,
is
right?
so weird.
Do you think
Like-
he just looked for
Imagine
one that was
getting mad at
exactly
that.
500? They're like, go
I-
spend 500 ETH on something.
Someone said this theory where he was like, he didn't know enough about OpenSea that he was only looking at like listings, so it was just like recently listed stuff. Like, I wonder if that was
Oh
the
my
case.
God.
Do you know what I mean?
It
Like,
was
maybe he didn't know how to
listed,
Can you
like,
search.
right
imagine
before.
being the guy that listed it for 500 ETH as
'Cause
Bieber
that-
was looking
If you look at that guy's
activity?
listing history, he kept like canceling at 300 like every few days and then relisting at like 500, like stupid
He
numbers, and he
relisted
was always constantly
This is
like
so
had
weird.
timer listings going. Like, I just wonder if Bieber like didn't know how to navigate OpenSea, and he looked at listings and it
Well,
was like all the
can-
recently
That's what I
listed
thought.
stuff, and he just picked one.
Do we not know if MoonPay bought this for him though?
They
They didn't.
I think
Oh,
it was
okay.
him,
I thought I
yeah.
He
saw
bought
some
it
stuff
from
that they
his
did.
wallet.
Oh, cool.
But like 500 Ethereum to Justin Bieber,
To
it's
him,
like
it's nothing.
it's
He
like
found
2,000 bucks to
literally
us.
nothing.
Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't
It's
matter at
nothing.
all. Like, like people are shitting on it. And it's like, what, he can buy whatever the fuck he wants. He wants to buy the
Also-
things he likes. Like, it doesn't matter. He's not trying to get value out of it.
Yeah, he doesn't care how much it costs. I like this one. I buy this one.
Yeah.
I don't give it. He doesn't look. These like mega rich people don't look at prices of things. Like, it's a
Doesn't
foreign
care.
concept to us, but it's like,
You think
You
he
think
cares
They're
if
not
it?
trying to flip it.
No, he
you
doesn't
know,
care if he
he's not
sells it for
looking
more in the
for
future.
profit.
Like, he doesn't
If
care.
He doesn't
he-
want to sell
If
it
he
at all.
listed it though, if he listed it, do you think that someone would buy it for more than he paid for it now just because it was
Because it's
considered
Bieber.
Bieber's ETH
No.
or Bieber's
No.
Bieber's ape?
Maybe-
I don't know if it's he's only owned it for like
Yeah.
a couple days now, but if that becomes Bieber's ETH or Bieber's ape, then I could see it happen. I mean, 500 ETH is a lot.
I think you would
So
have to
maybe
like.
that's why it doesn't, but
Yeah.
I think it's there. I think it sells for maybe close, just because
Yeah.
he was the
Mhm.
one. He was the one.
I think you'd have to like use it as PFP for like a year or something. Like, it'd have to be like
Yeah.
part of his identity for
There'd
it
have to be
matter,
like provenance
right?
around it. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
like
an
just if it's
interesting
on the
thought.
blockchain, like as him buying it, like I don't think that matters as much.
Like our
you'd have
rarity
to,
is going to go up, or our price is going to go up based on like brands versus rarities, like Beanie's ape, or like these people that have been using the ape as their brand. If they go and sell it, like, are they selling them at premiums in general? Like, is any of these apes that are prominent on Twitter, like, would any of them actually sell at floor, or they're just going to list them higher because they have a brand around it?
I don't think those guys are ever selling though.
they're not
Most
selling.
of them, right? Like,
Yeah, maybe a small premium for some of them, but you gotta remember Justin Bieber already paid a massive premium. So say he listed at 700 tomorrow.
Yeah.
The amount of people that care that it was Justin Bieber's ape is like you count it on two hands.
Yeah.
Then the amount of those people that have 700 ETH to buy it and care is probably like 0 or 1. So it depends. If Tropo, making that up, sold his PFP ape, someone might pay 10% over fair value for it just because it's his. Like, that's fine. But he's not getting double, triple, quadruple fair value just because it's his ape, in my opinion.
That'd be so weird if someone paid a premium for an influencer's ape. Like, I get a Bieber type situation or like a Paris Hilton or like something like that. But like to pay a premium, especially like a 10 or 20% premium because it's Tropo's ape or because it's like Art Chick's ape or whatever, like that just seems so stupid.
Yeah, someone just had a really good comment that I think would fetch a huge premium if you want to pull that up, Lou. So imagine if Bieber put that ape on his next album's cover. And that was the cover art. That is mega premium to me.
Or wait till
that would be insane.
Yeah,
wait till Eminem
Super Bowl.
Wait till Eminem and all those guys show off their apes at the Super Bowl halftime show, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, what if he puts it on the album cover and then fractionalizes it on fractional, and everybody can buy into it?
Yeah, you'd get so much for that.
Yeah,
because then it's a like
widely
so known piece of pop culture. It's like
yes,
it becomes just like more historical than it's more than a PFP at that point. It's like I think if you own the original like photo or film that the Beatles walking across the street was on, right?
Yeah.
That's different. I'm not comparing the two things, just FYI before I get flamed in the comments for that. But
yeah, I mean that it's something we'll see more. I think like Blau's doing that a lot with his stuff. Like what was the drop last week that they had Nas? That was like a re-release of an album, and they did it as NFT where you're getting like the partial royalties.
Yeah.
So, I wonder like how many of these we're going to see specifically like this year. Like, there's a lot of musicians out there that have apes. That's something we've talked about in the past. Like that seems to be the thing that musicians are getting. Like Steve Aoki's probably already using it for stuff. Like he had that little video where he's like showing his doodle on his phone.
Yeah,
and it's like, come on, can't you at least put it up, like on the big screen?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think we'll see that a lot this year. In general, people are using the brands. I don't know. It'll be cool to watch though.
It is. It's weird to see Bored Apes as big as they are. Like, just going back, like it doesn't seem that long ago when it was like June and they were like
eight months ago. Or whatever,
I don't know.
Right?
Like, we become so accustomed to this. Like I'm already accustomed to this 100 ETH floor now for some reason. Like it literally just happened today or yesterday or whenever it was. But like it's weird how accustomed we get to these crazy values, and then it's just crazy to think back on.
It's crazy to me how many projects, like I always, like back in the day, we always thought how many projects can sustain like a floor above 3 Ethereum. And now how many projects do we have over 10? Right? Like it's kind of insane. Like
it is insane.
I always look back to 6 months ago and it just doesn't feel real sometimes, like how much things have changed. Like I know the four of us here, like back, in May, June, like a 1 Ethereum floor of something was like mind blowing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and now that's like any random Instagram shit project that's dropped every week.
I saw a tweet today that was like, "What project isn't? What are there any projects left that are under 1 ETH? Like any good projects, right? Peaceful Groupies under 1 ETH. Just saying, but here's what it is.
Yeah. Do we think like it seems as if there was a point in time where the old projects were like the ones to hold? Now it seems like it's all the newer stuff, and anything that came out in that like August range is kind of falling behind. Like even with like the Cool Cats, like the Cool Cats kind of stalled at like 15 range, while Doodles, Azuki, CloneX, all these projects that have come out in the last few months are now pushing forward. And it's almost as if it's this like new wave of NFT buyer who like wasn't around back in June of last year, who isn't even thinking about those old projects.
Yeah.
I think like someone said it, and you kind of laugh about it, but people want to be part of a community. They want to be in that project from when it started, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot more new people now, as much as we don't want to say it. Like the last 2 to 3 months, there are new people. So do they want to go buy our bags that we minted in July, or do they want to be part of a project from the ground up that they can feel connected to and part of the community and they identify with, because they were there from when it started, right? Like, and that's a lot of the reason why people hold Bored Apes, is because that was maybe one of their first NFTs they minted. They've held it for 8 months. They're connected to it. These new people want that same feeling, right? So I think that's why the new projects are popping off more than, some of those old ones like Peaceful Groupies that are kind of stagnant, but we liked at the time. And then, 50 other projects have come up since then. Right?
It's weird because I always thought that like Peaceful Groupies that was always kind of the one that like everybody from back then liked it. And I thought it was going to do well. And it got up to like this 3-4, like very similar to like Galactic Apes. But Galactic Apes is another good example of something that minted like back in August that everybody liked, had a good team. They're building the brand and stuff, but it just kind of got left behind between like Bored Apes, Punks. Like once that winter came, they weren't established enough to where they were able to gain that traction once things picked back up. Because I truly think that's what happened to Groupies and Galactic Apes, and basically any of those projects that had a little bit of traction, but then just ran into winter and just dusted, got down to like 0.1 or 0.2 floors. And then it's been just really hard to build back up when there's Azukis and other things that are coming back out now, or that are releasing now, that are just as good in terms of the looks, the team, the aesthetic, like everything about it. And that doesn't take anything away from Groupies or Galactic Apes, but it's more saturated now. And like you said, people want to.
Does Trey not know Galactic Apes rugged us? Like, do you read it? Do you read it? No. Do you read it now?
Oh, they did. No, I did. I did read that. That's funny.
Yeah, they're worthless because they.
No, the other
us.
day. Yeah,
they were already kind of worthless.
I read that
announcement. They got up to like 0.35 again after they rubbed.
They were like that though, because they were always right next to my.
They were like
I have my WGMI, and it's like all those projects were just like 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, and we're just hanging in that range.
But there was a lot of that stuff. That
Sorry to bring up.
I know.
There was all that stuff sore subject.
A lot of that stuff that pumped, to 3 to 4 Ethereum back when like everything was hot for us, like kind of that first NFT summer, like Robotos, all that stuff, right? And it all kind of dipped back down. But now that NFTs are hot again, none of that stuff's really running. Right. It's the new stuff, right? So
yeah, and I mean, Eric saying tax harvesting was all scam to fill our bags. I kind of feel that because like I tax harvested a doodle. I tax harvested. I didn't really tax harvest the CloneX, but I sold it at like a third of what its price is now. And like a lot of these things, I think we were not scared about at the end of the year, but there was this whole like we're selling stuff lower and then you don't end up buying back in. And I think that's the part with some of these things. Like I talk to Chung all the time about this type of stuff where we look at things and now they're pumping right now that we sold 2 months ago at like 0.4. And we're like, it had just been sitting there for a while at that same price. And now like crypto chicks are one of them, like the Covens, even like the World of Women. I was holding those for so long. And then I was like, well, it's the end of the year. I could sell it for like a 1 ETH loss. Let me just do that. And now it's like a 9 floor. So it's kind of interesting how that worked out.
Yeah, like MFers, like Boss Beauties, like there's a lot of that stuff running. It's like hard to know which one's gonna run.
Right? Those are like, older.
And it's more painful for me when you didn't sell it right away.
Oh yeah,
it's worse than when you held it for like a month and decided, okay, it's time to punt this. It's over, and then it comes back.
Yeah,
I
It's
mean,
like it was just waiting for you to punt. It was like
it's as
2
soon as-
days after you punt,
Yep.
it knows it's time to go.
Yeah. So I've been holding a lot more stuff that is currently dust that I would have sold for at mint
Dangerous,
price or
yeah.
whatever, just because 0.08 now is whatever, but if it pumps to an ETH even, I don't know. It's happening more often than it doesn't, which is kind of crazy.
That's what I've always been. I mean, that was kind of my like just spray and pray. It was always just like
You've always
well,
been good at that, yeah.
where it's just like I almost did, like after a while I just embraced like I don't fucking know what's gonna pump anymore. So if especially like some of the projects that just go dust, like from the very minute that they're out, I'm like, I'm not selling 6 of these at 0.02. Sorry, but it's just not worth the time. So might as well just sit on it and hope that some influencer grabs it and pumps it. But now I'm almost like, I almost want to, after seeing everything over the summer and stuff, like the people who did really, really well are the ones that had like consolidated bets on like really big projects, and they had a ton of them, right? So like if you would have just been like, oh, I really like Bored Apes, which a lot of people did back in May, June, or even July before they really, really, really pumped. Like if you would have just been like, I really like Bored Apes, they're my top project. I'm gonna liquidate everything and put all my ETH into that, and then just ride that. You'd have been a way better off than like almost like spreading stuff out. So now that's what I'm kind of trying to do right now is like liquidate some of that stuff. Like peaceful groupies, I'm going to hang on to 1. I have 6 right now. I'm probably going to liquidate like 5 of those and put it into, I really like Treeverse. So I'm trying to accumulate as many plots as possible because I think the game is going to be big in the future type thing, right? So it's like liquidate all that stuff, less spray and pray, and more like consolidation on the projects I have conviction in.
I'm totally about the concentrated bets lately. Gump, what's yours? Do you have anything coming up that's a concentrated bet for you?
The raid party stuff we just did.
Yeah, that's what I wanted you to talk about.
I assume that was the setup to talk about raid party. Yeah, so what was that? Saturday was the raid party auction?
Yeah, Saturday or Sunday, one of the weekend days.
Yeah, it had kind of come to my attention like the week prior that it was going to be big. And then it was one of those meta drop auctions, right? We were all in there trying to bid in the top 1,000, which is an interesting concept. I think it's, I don't know, I wouldn't say fun. I wasn't having fun, but it definitely, it lets the market decide the price, which is bad for flippers, but good for us, I guess, because if you want it, you can get it, like if you believe in it. But then I read the white paper afterwards, and if I would have read the white paper beforehand, I probably would have bought at least 2. Just because it's the tokenomics and stuff they're doing is really cool for the game. So that will be my next concentrated bet this week. I think public mint is tomorrow.
I think it's Wednesday.
Or is it Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday. We're going to have to solve puzzles, though, you guys. I don't know how you guys feel about puzzles.
No, I don't have to solve them. I bought one in secondary.
Yeah, you
luck box that shit.
So here's what I'm hoping for the puzzle. Like there's enough other smart people out there that are in alpha discords. Someone's going to solve it. Someone's going to post it. Someone's going to share it to us as soon as possible. Like that's my own hope. I'm not solving the puzzle myself. There
just aren't that many packs, though. That's the problem.
Yeah. There's 4,000. How many is there? Like there's 3,000 or something.
There's 3,000 or 4,000 altogether, but then the pre-salers are going to knock out some of those tonight.
Yeah.
And then, if one big alpha group solves it, like those packs are going to get chewed up.
Yes,
but
right.
Like I'm going to hopefully buy some fighters and buy some more heroes because you're going to want them for the game. So we could do a whole stream on that, I'm sure. Yeah. Sometime about raid party, but
we'll have a raid party club NGMI dedicated episodes. It's going to be that big.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's going to have to move to like Mondays or
it'll be like a Thursday night raid party show.
Yeah.
Love it.
We are actually moving the DeFi Kingdom stream to Thursday on that note.
Really?
It's because the patch notes were coming out so late on Wednesday. we wanted to be able to talk about the new content like the day it
That
came
makes
out or
sense.
the day after.
Yeah.
So I think starting this week, we're going to do Thursdays.
That makes
So.
sense. So I gotta interrupt and talk about chain faces. Well, I got you.
Oh my god.
So there's
man.
only
That's
so
still going.
so there's 145 warriors left, right?
Oh.
And I have one left still.
So you got a 1 in 50.
I got a 1 in whatever chance,
Yeah.
but so I can take him out for 1.5 Ethereum. I'm not like, it's kind of gross to think that, you know, I could take this guy out for $3,300 or whatever it is, or I could let it ride and lose it all. But I'm gonna let it ride. But would you guys in my situation take it out,
No,
or would you?
I would let it ride.
You would let it
for
ride.
sure. Are you kidding
What does
me?
that say about us?
Yes.
What does that say about us? Like,
Well, I don't
You already
know.
chalked it
like,
up as a loss.
yeah,
without you know sounding like a smug asshole or whatever, but like what's 1.5 Ethereum going to do to your bankroll?
Yeah.
It's just going to sit in your ledger. You might as well like try and
let it ride.
Yeah, let it ride.
For
I
the
mean,
fun,
that's how I would
for the
play
fun of it. Yeah. Just it's starting to get to the point where it's kind of exciting, all right? Like only
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
145
like
left,
you waited all this time, like, and now you get to the exciting part, and you're like, I'm gonna take 1.5 ETH.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like,
How
make it
often
fun.
do people get taken out again? I'm not in it, so
Once
It's
every 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
so do you just check like all day long to see if you got?
So I used to check once every,
Kicked out?
you know, couple days. And then finally, like today, I noticed, oh my God, there's only 200 left and I still have one. So now I've been kind of checking every, you know, every couple hours.
Yeah.
I'm sure like come like 2 days from now, I'll be checking it every 15
Yeah.
minutes, right? Like if I'm still alive by that point, but
What's the final prize? It's just one person gets it
Whatever's
all.
left.
it depends on how many people leave the arena. So the more people that leave the arena, obviously they take more money out. So you don't really know what's left. But if you
Okay.
kind of map it out, like it could be anywhere from, you know, 35 to 80 Ethereum kind of thing, depending on how many people leave versus how many people die. So
Interesting.
It's interesting.
And once you take it out, you're out, right? Like you
Yeah,
can't
you're
go
out.
back in.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but then you could sell the NFT for since he made history with this.
Yeah.
They're going for 0.03 right now.
I wonder if it gets down to a certain point, like 10 or 20 people left, if you could go, I don't know if they have a Discord, and like find the people and chop the pot with them and be like, all right, no matter who wins, we're going to split this 10 ways.
yeah, you're gonna trust a
There's
bunch
no
of
way.
random
There's gonna
internet
be
strangers.
Yeah,
You think out of
Man.
10 crypto degens that there's not going to be one of them that's like, no, I'm going home with this whole thing.
I mean, it's worth a shot.
I think
guess.
once you're down to like last 3 or 4, you might be able to pull that out.
Yeah.
But with 10 to 15 left, there's going to be one guy in there that just wants it all.
Yeah,
Wow,
I mean,
that's crazy.
Cranksy probably still has like 12 of them in there or something.
Yeah.
Does he put out any stats like that? Like who has the most left or anything?
I'm not sure. I haven't really, you know, Nate and I have kind of like a toxic relationship, so I haven't really spent much time in his Discord. So
You could probably look in the staking contract and
see who's left. Yeah, you're
who's
right.
left.
That's true.
But-
Yeah, Babs isn't gonna do that. Maybe
So other
maybe our
than-
Nate will. He's been doing a lot of the numbers.
I think the
for it.
club has like probably 6 to 8 left still, so like not bad odds if we.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
As far as concentrated bets, though, I think that's pretty much it. That and I was going to buy some cool pets.
Well, I was going to ask that. So Cool Pets got released today. Like Trey,
Everybody
do you any interest in second guying a Cool Pet?
Yeah, I didn't really follow the drop a whole lot, but then once it started getting talked today, I was like, okay. You know, I watched Lou, I watched some of your stream with Logie and the other Bales. I watched it because someone was like, Bales is gonna be on. I jumped on
That's
and it was
Tony.
it's just Tony. Yeah, I was like, well. But I watched some of it and I was like, yeah, I could see myself jumping into a few of these. I mean, it's the same thesis as mutant apes, right? You're kind of getting access to to an ecosystem, a blue chip ecosystem for less of a price, and it's a pretty easy bet to make in my head. If you go, all right, we're January right now. If you think February and March are huge for NFTs because you think we're going to chop through ETH, then what are the odds that Cool Pets don't go nuts? Like they're connected to a blue chip NFT project. So
Yeah,
I mean
hard to
it's
see them
a
as, like,
low,
number
yeah,
one.
I mean it's a nice, it should be a low, I don't know what the floor is at now, but I mean it's, you know, 2,
Three.
3,
So-
1 and 1.5.
point-
Either way, I
They're-
mean it's
They're only at
3.15.
like 20%
yeah.
have been minted so far. They're doing they have like 8,500 allow lists, and that starts tomorrow at 2.
Yeah, I saw that
Um,
they delayed it. So I don't know. How did that affect the floor then?
It's still over
So it's
3.
higher.
Like there's a lot of
Didn't
sales.
really-
over
Hi, yeah.
3.
Well, that's what always happens because people then are like, oh, I'm going to go and buy for whatever reason, which doesn't make any sense. But
Yeah.
oh, well, I mean, but yeah, I mean, I think it's a great, you can go in there and talk about making concentrated bets. I mean, you can go in there and get access to, you know, Cool Cats ecosystem.
Yeah.
And you could even genie, like if you had 10 ETH, you could just throw 10 ETH, you know, at Gem or whatever and get 5 of them and write it up through March.
Yeah. And they have the game actually ready to go.
Yeah.
Like once these are sold, it's not like, hey, we're going to mint these eggs. And then in Q2, you'll be able to use them. It's like, no, you mint the eggs today. And then I haven't read through the whole, like you can interact with them and then they hatch in phases. It's kind of cool. But like you said, it's like the mutant and ape thesis for me. Like if I have to pay 3, I'll pay 3. But my theory is these Cool Cats holders who are minting now, like most of them are not selling. Think about Babs. You were never selling your mutant that was attached to your ape, right? You weren't going to sell that.
No, I
But
sold
the
it. I bought
You
it.
did? Of course you did.
No, I have one still, but the
But
one
they
I
are the
No,
people
I
that
said,
want
"Come
it.
on, you're
But-
talking to Babs."
They're the people that
thesis
want
is
to
the
use
same.
it.
Yeah,
Well,
they're not
because
selling.
if you have a cat, you earn faster than
Right.
not having a cat. So they're the ones that's advantageous to have a pet. And a lot of them got it for free. And that goes back to the free thesis that like people that got something for free that's generating income, kind of like the looks tokens or whatever, like they're more likely to hold. It's the people tomorrow that are getting them for like 0.5 who might be like, well, I see that the floor is 3. I can get a quick 2 ETH if I sell it right
Yeah.
away. It's those people that I think are going to be
They'll
doing it.
They're the ones I
Well-
hope all dump because they want it in a raffle or through some
Yeah.
Twitter giveaway, and they might not even have enough gas to pay to play the game.
Yeah.
Right?
The problem is everybody wants these though. Like it seems like everybody's in on them. Like
there's always-
everybody's
It's like the hot
like,
drop
oh,
of
I'm
the
gonna
week.
buy it. Yeah, everybody's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna buy it 1.5 or I'm gonna buy it 2. So what do we think is good? I mean, usually in those scenarios, it just never ends up going down. So what's the supply on them?
So 20,000
20,000.
and only
Yeah, so it's
4,400.
exactly like mutants.
4,400 have only been minted so far, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, it's only 25%
Yeah,
of the
it's gonna go
supply.
down.
Like
It
it'll
has
go
to.
down, but like how far will it go down? Like will it touch 2? It might. I think it might touch
Yeah.
2.
I
or
just don't
below.
think the supply thing is that big of a deal anymore. CloneX is 18
Yeah.
ETH floor at 20. But the other thing is Cool Cat owners have, I think it's like unlimited to mint versus
They do.
allow lists have like the 20. I think they've extended it to 26 hours, but there could be like, I don't know, 3,000 of them that aren't minted. Like it could be kind of like mutants where
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
only, it sits at like 17, 18,000 for a while, which that's not that big of a difference to 20K, but it'll be interesting
What-
to watch.
Say there's 2,000 left for public. Would you guys try?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try.
Yeah,
You're gonna try?
If I lose 0.1, trying like whatever.
Yeah, so
Somebody
they
was
posted a
I would
thing-
probably be more likely to buy on secondary if there was 2,000 left and I was able to like do some math in my head and stuff like that. Like depending
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
where it
That
ended up coming out.
fire, maybe the highest.
Well,
that we
that's what
have
I'm.
so far.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Because there's 1,500 for public, but you got to assume some of those allow lists won't mint, right? They just forget about it or the right.
Absolutely.
Like, that always happens. So there'll be
It
probably
always is.
1,500 to 2,000. I'm guessing left.
So there was a post that about like the contract itself, and it made it sound like they tried to make it as bot proof as possible. Obviously, we never know how these things turn out, but it said there's a secret code on the website to mint. We've done a mint like that, right? Before that had to like You had to
I
find
remember
the code.
the best one I've ever seen is you had to go in the Discord and type like a command, and then it
Yeah.
spit out a
Stringify?
bite. Was that what it
Was it
was? I can't
Stringify?
remember.
Yeah, I
There
was
one
was
that-
so in on Stringify. I thought that they're like,
Yeah.
Whatever happened to
It
them?
was gonna be
No,
that.
that's-
they dusted.
That was
awful.
one where you had to like get in the door to solve a puzzle. What
Oh,
Baz
yeah.
is talking about is, sometimes the contract says like proof bytes.
Yeah.
Oh,
you had to go in Discord.
I actually remember that too.
I can't remember.
I can't remember what
it
mint
was.
it was, but yeah, you had to go
can't
in,
either.
type a command to get the byte, and then you put the byte in the contract. Like that was perfect, right? There's no way
It
you
was
could
a
bot
Discord command, wasn't it?
Was it House of
There was for
Kiba?
sure a Discord. It wasn't Kiba because I
Mm.
remember minting.
I
there,
didn't
but
mint
I never
that,
had a
yeah.
Kiba.
Well, there
that.
was
No, was it those House of Kiba like
Yeah,
like the
there was
Hawk
20,000 of them or something like
guys?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
might have been those, right? Like the
it was something like that.
because
But
I didn't mint those, but yeah. Anyway, chat, help us out. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell?
hope-
They're saying Sneaky Vampire.
Outcast.
I didn't
that
mint
sounds right.
Outcast.
Brian
It might have been
sounds right.
Outcast. Yeah, it
has
was
to be it.
Outcast because I
Yeah,
didn't mint
that's
those
it.
dusty things.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I still have an Outcast,
Yeah.
I think.
yep.
Yeah, I think if they put something like that in play, then
We have a chance,
Yeah.
but it's going to be gassy as hell. I mean, 5,
How's it
6,
gassy?
7,000 minimum.
That's
Yeah,
where
the
we
only
get-
chance is if it's
However,
not bonded, right?
it's probably still going to be less than secondary if you get it.
I hope it's not, because if it's not, then
Then just buy in secondary.
I just buy on second.
Well,
Like
yeah.
if they get to 2, I would just buy on secondary and be like, I probably won't even try. I'll try for the drop, but I don't
Well,
know.
that's where,
2 or low 2 is kind of my target.
that's where you feel comfortable with it because your price target for ROI on that is like you hope that cool pets get to 10 or
10,
something,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So like if 10's your price target, you're buying at 2. Like what's really the difference if you're buying at 2 compared to I could have got 1.5 cost basis
Oh,
if I
no.
minted, right?
Brian still has 40
shit.
of those
Okay,
outcasts.
Outcast.
Oh
That's
no!
why you knew. That's why you knew.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
Oh, they're so dusty though. I think I remember.
I
looking at the
tax
floor
loss
the other
harvested
day.
those. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Those 0.045 floor right now for the old.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Really?
It's better than I
pretty good.
thought, actually.
much
That's
better than
alive.
I thought. Yeah,
That's
actually
not
not
dead
bad.
yet.
There was a couple
No.
genies today. 3 genies.
No way.
today.
Whoa.
4.
Specifically
Some big
today,
ones. Yeah, all in the last 24 hours.
I have no outcast.
they
left.
probably tweeted something.
But it's interesting stuff like Cool Pets and Raid Party. I was saying this about the floor of these things is going to be directly correlated to the token. So, like if milk comes out
Yeah.
and it's $8 for 1 milk, like the floor is going to go sky high. So it all depends
You need
on
cents. That'd be wild.
what you
I'd love
do
that $8.
with the milk token. Yeah, that was just an example, but it depends how many people who are playing this game are simply going to just farm and dump, and how many are going to.
Try to buy it. Yeah.
You can I don't know, Lou. You know more about that than I do. Buy items and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Gus, do
basically
you
you
think-
spend milk to level up, but you're burning milk by buying the items. So
Yeah.
the deflationary aspect of it is why I think it's not going to just like straight up dump. Like POW, there's no use of
For it.
the token right now. So that's why it's kind of just been slowly going down the whole time. So it'll be interesting to watch like what the milk token actually is. Like the game itself will be played on Polygon to limit on gas fees, but then
Yeah, that's nice.
the thing Jason was talking about was like, are people going to be bridging it back and forth all the time? Like people probably don't want to bridge it all that much. So to bridge it and sell it, it probably has to be at an attractive number. So it's kind of like the head game stuff where it's like, I have a bunch of head game, but it's going to cost me like half of what I'm selling just to withdraw it and then swap it. And then you have to switch it. You know, there's all these extra transactions. So
Yeah.
I'm interested in watching this weekend, like what's going to happen with like the cool pet universe.
And don't you need to quest it in order to get it fully revealed too, right? And all those quests cost milk, I think, right? Like, is that how it works? So like that's a pretty good milk sink for people that want to unhatch their egg, right? Like, it's kind of interesting that way. Like I could see there being periods where milk really takes a run while everyone tries to get their egg unhatched, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
Go.
someone's
gonna
going to
be a
have to set up
race.
a pool for it too, because I highly doubt Cool Cats is setting up a liquidity pool.
I don't think they're.
I don't think they can if they want to continue to call it a utility token. And
Well,
Ape is going to run into the same problem. Somebody will. There's always one.
That's
a
what I'm
few
worried
whales
about.
To it.
I'm honestly like kind of bearish on all these NFTs releasing tokens. Like, I don't know. It
You're
just
bearish
feels
on
like
apes.
it feels like there's a lot of unnecessary risk that a lot of these NFT projects are taking on by introducing a token that doesn't need to be there. Like they're just introducing a token because it's like this cool thing to do, and it would be like cool to have a token associated with their project that's their in-game. But there's like, and maybe Gump can speak more to this than I can, because you're much more of a tokenomics, master when it comes to deciphering all that than I am. But like, it just seems like there's so much just a lot of complexity that goes along with that, where the execution risk is just super high. But maybe for like Bored Ape Yacht Club and Cool Cats, they're just like, there's such high tier blue chip NFT projects that the performance of the token literally doesn't matter. But I think for some of these, it's just a bad idea, because how many project founders are really good at creating an NFT project and running a business and a brand, and are also simultaneously good at executing on tokenomics? Like, I don't see it.
Well, I think the successful ones bring people in. Not to bring up my favorite project, DeFi Kingdoms, again, but they brought a full-time resource onto the team.
Yeah.
That was his only job, was to talk about the economics of Jewel and the liquidity pools, working with other chains to get it on there. So, like, I'm guessing these projects like Apes and Cool Cats, they're probably doing it right. Yeah. They brought
I read something today that the apes have 36 employees now, right? Like you got to assume one of those is like a token
more than OpenSea.
right? Like, at least one of those guys is dealing with that, right? Like,
yeah, their biggest risk is being not delisted, because these aren't like, they're not going to delist Cool Cats from OpenSea, right?
They delisted Cool Cats for a little bit today.
It's getting their check mark taken away and being thought of as less by these marketplaces. And maybe Coinbase has a similar rule where, like, if you're going to say these Cool Cats are going to make people money, we're not having you here. That's the biggest risk to me. It's not like anyone can make a token. You can go make an ERC20 token.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I could send you 1 trillion Gump coins tomorrow, and it wouldn't be that hard.
I would love that.
Can they have to tell the users, like, we don't care about milk price. The Cool Cats team, we don't care about milk price. That's not our goal. Even though that is directly tied to the floor of their project, their face has to say, we don't care about the price of milk. It's only for the game. So it's tough for people to wrap their minds around that the Cool Cats team does not care about the price of milk.
Yeah.
Or shouldn't.
No, and I get that. It's just, the coin just seems like it opens up like this whole new can of worms that some of these projects maybe aren't fully thinking through. But, the Cool Cats and the Bored Apes, like, I could see them getting through it just no problems, because they're just so big at this point that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, especially if they don't dip their toe in the liquidity pool. Like Stacked Toads, they set up the liquidity pool and they funded it. Once you do that, you do step into that range of like, okay, we're kind of responsible for the token price now. We can control the liquidity in the pool. But if Cool Cats is like, we're not touching this swapping for ETH, like that's not our deal, it's less risky, I guess. So we'll see. I'm excited. I hope I can get a couple.
But I think like most of these teams bring on lawyers, or at least consult with lawyers, right? Like to try and get past that. Like make sure they're wording it.
Yeah.
Make sure they're wording it right. Like that makes me less concerned about that kind of stuff when it comes to.
Yeah, I know they're consulting, especially now that they're just multi-million-dollar company, like brands and corporations. Like it makes sense. But it still scares me a little bit, just because a lot of it just seems very degen.
Yeah, it can go south if people just want to like earn milk and dump it. It can like tank the whole project. If milk is worth nothing, like let's be real, how many people are going to get addicted to this Cool Cats game and like want to play it just to play it?
Exactly.
Probably not that many. So people will play it if it's kind of fun and they know that they can cash out for a profit later. But if there's no profit to be made, we're not there yet where people are just going to play to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where like a game like Treeverse to me looks more appealing, where it looks like the game they're trying to make it be like a fun game, like a story game, versus a lot of these NFT play to earn games are just clicking buttons at this point. And like you click the button, you come back later and you check on how much you made or whatever. And so that's the part that I'm hoping, like, we'll see once you're in there and how the items work. And Andrew Wing was doing a little Twitch stream earlier and showing the different places you can go in the map and stuff. So I don't know. It's one of those things where we were all excited about games this year, and I feel like we're only a month in and we're already kind of out on a lot of them. But there will be some that break through for sure that are just way better.
Yeah.
It's still just such a long play for the play to earn stuff, because for a game, at least if you're in the mindset that the game needs to be fun, I think that's why I'm consolidating or why I'm bullish on Treeverse. I don't there's a lot of execution risk that goes along with them as well. Like they've still got to build out an entire game that's fun. But Loopify has been saying this entire time that they're primarily building it to be fun and to be like building it around like this is a game that people are actually going to want to play just for the game, not because it's an NFT or it's tied to some token. So that's where the communication there was, okay, that's why I'm investing in this rather than I'm just investing in this because raid party, it's a game, it's going to go nuts or something like that, right? Hopefully it's actually fun.
I was excited watching that timeless characters finally started moving. I was talking to Ja about those a couple weeks ago. I was like, these have literally just been sitting at 0.35 floor for like a month and a half. And now the floor is like 1. It got above 1 at one point. But
it got up to like 1.5 almost. But yeah.
For just a regular floor. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
I don't know. I think it's because people know that the Loopify has been very clear that the game's not coming out until Q4. At least that's what they're shooting for. So there's like this, okay, we think the NFT market's going to be bullish like right now for the next 3 or 4 months. But do people really think like, I think that's where people are running into, okay, they've got these short and midterm, NFT investment theses, but they don't have like that super long-term one where I think if you're investing in Treeverse, you need to have at least a 6 to 7 month like time horizon, because the game's not going to be coming out until then. But there's going to be narratives and other things that come out with updates and stuff. So that's kind of what you got to weigh.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like holding stuff for that long, right? Like committing to something for that long. Yeah. It's hard, right? People, will move their Ethereum to something else and not hold the bag for 7 months. Like I'm guilty of that sometimes too, right?
Yeah. That's the tough part with like those things. But I mean, we've been noticing this the past week. It just seems like people are kind of back on the PFPs. So I'm not sure if that's just different, but it was like the passive income meta for a little while. Yeah. And it seems like these ones that are pumping aren't really like passive income. It's more like which of these can double in a week. Yeah. A lot of them have been, but did CloneX have any specific catalyst that got announced they faster than others?
I don't think so.
They teased an announcement. They said like, oh, big things are coming. Like this is your last chance. Like they haven't said anything yet, but like that was mainly what caused it to rocket. Like it's funny when something's already popular and kind of on people's radar, what it takes to make people want to buy it, right? Like it sat there for a long time, kind of around that, I think 6 to 7 Ethereum range. And then one little teaser that, this is your last chance and announcements coming makes people FOMO is kind of funny to me. Like, I think the last time we saw that was with Creatures, and it was, we're changing the NFT game, wait till our announcement the next day. And then the announcement was you can change their mouths, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like someone came out with an announcement like that the other day too. I'm trying to think of about like changing the game, and we're like, oh, did Danny Cole write that?
Yeah.
It's
almost like the whole selling the rumor, right? Thing.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
it's almost, especially in the NFT space, it is almost always the right move, because like, I think a lot of these project founders think that their announcements are a lot better than they are. Like, they just think that they're this.
Yeah.
If you go into any NFT space, like, NFT spaces are so cringe. It just seems like everybody thinks that they've got like this massive galaxy brain, and that I don't know. Like, NFT spaces just seem so cringe. When you enter into a Twitter space, and it's just like everybody thinks that they're the greatest thing ever.
The only one I actually didn't mind listening to was the Azuki guys. Like, they actually seem like they're smart.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of them used to work at Google,
contract.
and the artist was from I can't remember, a popular video game, and like, you can tell they're smart when they talk, right?
Yes.
Like, and that does matter, I find, right?
Yeah. I think what I was mostly getting, like, people just, I don't know, they almost like take themselves too seriously when they're in these Twitter spaces, and I'm just like, okay, this is too much. Like, I came in here to talk about illiquid JPEGs, not like the, how this, PFP project is going to change the world. But teach their own.
Yeah, and I think that like we've seen in the last week or so that people are less, maybe kind of what you were saying earlier about like apes at 100 isn't like phasing people as much, but all these projects that are in that like 15, like let's just say 12 to 20 range right now, it's almost like people aren't as in a rush to sell them, because there's now this like talk that what's the next one that's going to hit 50. So people don't want to sell the ones that are up there because they're thinking that the ceiling is a lot higher. And I don't know if that's going to be like dangerous way to do it, but Doodles
totally
is one
is.
right now that I'm having this like back and forth in my head on, because like, what if people hate the spaceships? Is it going to tank it? Or also it's like, there's a lot of people with a lot of money who are in on Doodles. So that's like the other side of it. So it's tough. Like, if ETH starts running back over 3K, is that going to slow some of this down? And the whole like game theory is like it's a really fun part of NFTs, but it's just like back and forth in my head how I'm thinking of it.
It's so hard to make the right decision, right? Like, you're
hard.
like, as long as you can accept that your fact that you're probably 90% of the time making the wrong decision, like, it's easier to live with yourself. Like, people have these same conversations when Bored Apes were 15 too, right? Like, not all of them are going to run to 100. Maybe like one out of 30 of them will make it there one day.
Right.
But are you going to pick the one out of 30, right? Like, not Doodles, Clone X, Azuki, Cool Cats. Like, maybe one of them runs to 30, 40, but I bet not all of them will, right? Like, so which one are you picking? Good luck.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the fact that I haven't even thought about listing in Azuki yet makes me second guess myself, because I'm like, I've gotten into the habit of counter trading myself, and I'm like, okay, if I'm just like in this mindset that even at 13 ETH floor or whatever, like, I'm just not I'm not listing Azukis, maybe it's a good time to do that. Like, I don't know, but also you see some of the upside in the ceiling on some of these projects, and it's like, holy crap, if you really bet, like I said, like I think in my head the last like couple weeks or since January, I've kind of just been like, okay, Treeverse and Azuki are my bets. I planned on accumulating more Azuki, but it went nuts before we could I think anybody even like, it literally went too fast, and then all of a sudden it was 9 ETH, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm done accumulating Azukis. I liked it a lot better at the 3.5 ETH floor, but it's something that I had to get past in my head because like Babs and I have been we've made it no secret that we hate second guying, but I think Lou alluded to it earlier in the show. Like that might be the new meta or the way to kind of make money now is to jump on some of those 3 to 4 ETH or less than 3 above 1 type, genie a couple if you have the means, and then ride that floor up as long as you can before it just gets so crazy that you sell it.
I've just been saving my liquidity for this cool pet stuff, and they keeps getting pushed back. And then it's like
could have spent it on Azukis, Lou. Come on,
Lou. Have you looked into Raid Party?
Like at 7.
Do you have any interest in Raid Party? Do you have any interest?
What's the current buy-in?
So on Wednesday, for the public sale, the cheapest pack is 1 hero, 1 fighter, and I think that's 2 Ethereum.
But you don't need whatever the Dutch auction was to get into it?
No, those are Genesis. So like that's kind of like
so those are separate from, and that's where I was getting like confused where they don't really like
like there was 1,000
make a huge difference between the actual Genesis heroes.
So they have benefits. So they have benefits. They'll earn more. They're you can breed a bit better. Like there's benefits to them. But you don't need one of those to play the game. You obviously need a hero or a fighter to play the game. So that's what the public drops coming up. So So
you
2
need one
for 1 hero and 1 fighter. You get in that pack.
Yep. Yeah, you have to have at least 1 hero to make a party, to lead a party. But your hero alone will not earn anything. So you need at least 1 fighter to put in your party to start earning. It's called confetti. You can do stuff with just the hero, but it's probably not as fruitful. So yeah, you got to have at least 1 or both. And I like it. There's so much game theory in this one, whereas other games like Lou said are just, it's not a game. It's like you already know the outcome.
You're trying to race to mint out, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna stake this hero, and then in an hour I'm gonna get 100 coins. That's not a game. That's like just staking, or like this actually has like you can control how much you earn based on your actions in the game. And people love to win things and be the best at things. And that's what gets you addicted. It doesn't have to be a AAA game on PlayStation.
Feeling like they had a say over the outcome. If you just stake something and you get 100 of it, well, everybody can do that. But if you felt like you gained an edge over your like opponent because you had some cool game theory thing or strategy that helped you get an edge over them, then you feel like you're a galaxy brain and you want to come back for more and whatever.
Yep.
So
makes sense. All right. Well, were there any other things like burning in your guys' mind from this week? I know we talked about a bunch of things, but the only other that I had was, do we think we're still in an anime meta?
Yeah, that was the only other thing I was going to bring up. I don't know. It feels like we're definitely in it. I don't know that it doesn't feel like one of those things that's going to stay for a super long time.
Yeah.
Like we're in it right now. Azukis are still going to be great, in my opinion. Like I think as crazy as it sounds, they've established themselves as like a blue chip, which is nuts when they've only been around for 2 weeks. And maybe Azuna does too, and a couple others. Like anime art is good art, but I don't think that this meta where it's just like every single anime thing that comes out is going to last very long.
Yeah, like there's been some Discords popping up with that kind of art style, like Ethereal and Tazuki. Like I think people are trying now to capitalize on it. So like
very quick.
We'll see how long it lasts before some of them turn to dust and people get over it. Like that always happens, I find, with those metas. Like the first one crushes, the next 2 to 3 do really well, but then the ones usually after that kind of dust. So it'll last for a couple weeks and we'll see.
I've liked that it's trickled in Timeless, but go ahead, go.
I was going to say the one difference I find with, maybe this is stereotyping a little bit, with the anime stuff is the people who own the NFTs and like in the Discords, they're a way more rabid group, and like they're passionate about the concept of anime. Like no one in the Lemon Friends Discord is passionate about
Lemons?
PFPs of fruit heads, right? It's not a real thing until NFTs were created.
Yeah.
Whereas anime, that's already exists in pop culture, like everywhere in Asia, in the US. It's huge in Asia. Like none of us probably even understand how big it is in Asia, right? So that's the only difference I see between that and prior metas that we've had, like all the animal PFPs and the staking games. This is a real thing that people have been passionate about their whole lives that now is coming into this new exciting space that they're in. So do I think it's going to last forever at these levels? And this Tazuki Discord or whatever got 50K members in 24 hours? Yeah. Probably not. But
it's too bad the Naruto Discord rugged us, because that would have been
that would have been perfect timing. Seriously.
I know. I was got in there too.
How much of the anime meta got soaked up by Azuki and Azuna and Timeless? Like it seems like those are the only three big ones that I can really put my finger on. But it just seems like those. I don't know.
Yeah, there's just more.
But Gump makes a really good point though. Like it is.
People love it.
I've been hearing about anime. And I'm not a big anime guy either, but
yes,
I've been hearing people go nuts for anime for 5-10 years. So
like people dress up for anime, go to like Comic-Con, like will wear costumes, like they go crazy for it. Like you think they're selling their NFTs relating to it? Like no chance.
Depends on what it. No, if there's like a brand that comes out and does it, I think that's what the next one is going to be. That'll be like a big one. One of these like brands that people are already following. Like, remember the Onion one? that the Onion Man, is that what it's called? Remember that night where it was like we found this YouTuber with like millions of followers came out with an NFT, and it was like it wasn't even in English. We couldn't figure out how to mint, and then the floor was like immediately 2.5. And we were like, where did this come from? And I think if there's like this big following, big brands that come in with already like merch and stuff like that could be huge. But it's tough. Like it's tough to know which ones are going to work out and which ones won't, because there's just so many that pop up each day. Like the Killer Girlfriend wasn't really on any of our radars. And that one like went up to over 2 ETH floor rate, didn't it?
Yeah.
And now it's back down. Fanta Bears are back down.
Some of the chats
played that perfect, man. Holy cow! You got like 17.
Someone in the chats fudding our Azuki, saying the chart looks exactly like Oni. Like, can we boot that guy? Let's boot him first. Let's boot him.
Is he wrong?
Well, like, yeah. So like, I'll make counter arguments against that. Like, if you pull up the art, like, there's a clear distinction of like what one's higher quality to me. Like it's not even close that way. And two, like Oni to me pumped because of I can't remember his name. Paul. Well, Logan Paul. Yeah. Logan Paul, and like he pumped it for like 2 days, and then have you seen him mention it lately? Like he kind of pumped and basically moved on, right? So, and Oni's whole roadmap and like vibe was like, we're gonna have storybook contests and have like anime like art contests, and we'll have movie nights. Like that stuff doesn't drive a project. No. Like you need people.
It was a good idea.
It was a great idea. Like they didn't execute so
at all. And Azuki has like this, like you can pretty clearly tell that they subordinate what they did, how they became as big as they did. It wasn't like the art itself that was anything like, yes, Azuki has great art, but they're also building like this. It seems like they really get it when it comes to building like a brand around the NFT project itself and like making it this thing that's just super, super big. So
and like the devs,
but those are my two. Yeah, that's my point.
I was going to say
made the Minton contract, which had the most efficient gas I've ever seen. Yeah. Right, like it was
doing everything right.
It hadn't been done. Yeah. And now projects are starting to incorporate it. It was so what they did in a nutshell, how I understand it, is they created a way where if you minted multiple NFTs, the gas still costs as if you were only minting one. And they called it, I think, ERC 721A, something like that. And like that had never been seen. And you see like nerdy people on Twitter like, holy shit, this is like amazing code or whatever. Yeah. See, our friend Futter
Jesse
just said
Friedland.
721.
Yeah, we convinced Jesse. Jesse's on board.
If I would have known that, I would have minted 5 instead of 2. Let me tell you,
Same.
like I
Same.
totally would have minted 5 instead of 2.
Yeah. So that alone, I think, got them a ton of respect, and they already have projects reaching out to them to like. I want to know if you can really like license that kind of thing, but
I think they made the code open source, right? Like
I was going to say, I thought they did that too.
As well.
So
just the fact that they did that, like it could live on. Yeah, I'm just like injecting the hopium in my veins right now, but
it's okay.
As like the first project that like these guys made this, and now say in 6 months everyone uses it, and every time we mint, it's the price of 1 for gas.
So there was just a sweep of spirits. There's 3 spirits. 75, 80, and 82.88.
They were actually due compared to the rest of the market, which is actually crazy because they were at like 75 ETH floor.
Well, this started
a couple
when
days
it was
ago
like
when I was doing the math. I think the spirits front ran the market though for the most part. Everyone was like, spirits look so good. So that floor itself ran up just faster, especially with the low supply, just ran up faster than the actual floor could even keep up with.
It goes back to like the thesis I've had on some of these things where it's like, it really does rely on the high end stuff. It kind of goes back to like the Top Shot thesis in a way where it's like, once people stop buying the high end stuff, that's when it slows down the rest of it. Like when you see people paying 80 ETH for this stuff, you feel a little better about spending 12.
Oh yeah,
you know,
it gives you confidence that like if whales are buying stuff, like they're going to protect their bags, they're not going to dump, they're going to pump it, right? Like the more, same thing that happened with Doodles, right? Like the more buys way above floor, it gives everyone confidence. People get excited about it, right? Like they're talking about it on Twitter, they're talking about it in their Discords. It's just like a cascading effect, right?
Yeah. Yep, I would agree. I mean, that's the only reason. I would say that's the only reason I was able to second guy Azukis for as much as I did, because it's just so unlike me when it comes to buying stuff on secondary. I just don't do it. But when I saw like those huge buys coming in and you just see the spirit floor, it was just like, I was looking at the spirits and I was like, if I don't buy one, then it's going to be gone in like 10 minutes or something. And it was gone. Right. So it was just, you saw those big buys coming in. You could see that people weren't buying the Azukis because they were buying the floor. They were buying them because they wanted it, because they actually liked it, right? They're paying 2 ETH above floor, because they liked it, paying 5 instead of 3 because it looked dope, instead of just, I'll buy a floor and I'll sell it for 6 ETH after. That wasn't the thought process for most people.
Yeah. What makes the floor go up, I think what we've seen with the Azukis that I hadn't noticed before, is all those buys above the floor. When our floor does go up and we get to 10 ETH, on a normal project in the past, that wall is 30 thick and you usually don't break through it the first time. With this, I mean, we got to 10 ETH and there was like 4 of them at 10 and then 6 at 11 or whatever. So it helps kind of break up the noise as you go upward.
What did Azuki start this morning at? Like 9.5, right? Like it.
It may have been even lower.
I think it was less than
lower. Was it 9.2 or something? It was close to
it was definitely like
almost 9. It was very close to 9. Yeah.
But that's what happens like when there's so many, like Gump said, so many buys above floor. There's just, it's way thinner up there, right? Like a lot of those buys were constantly happening above floor. So while the floor is running, like the higher end's running too. Like, it's crazy how fast it can go like in one day, right?
Yeah.
So tomorrow 20 is the goal, and then I think by next week we want to be at 40. Is that right? And then a month to flip 8s. Is that the plan?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Then we'll get merch, and then they're doing a token. It's called Bean, I believe. So that'll be fun too.
We can't pump Zookies
We'll be
too
at
much.
200 ETH by then.
I'm sorry.
Lou's a non-beaner, and Lou has Doodle
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Cool
I know,
Cat
I
bags.
I was
Lou's,
like, we are
Lou's
gonna
on
be
the
talking about
opposite. He's
50
like,
so
he's the
much on
other.
this show.
I mean, I told you that was like in my head. It's like, do I sell a Doodle to buy? Well, originally it was like I could sell it to buy 2 Azukis, but you can't buy 2 anymore with 15 ETH. It's only one of them. So I don't know. I still think I prefer Azuki to CloneX right now, but that is more of a supply thing.
Yeah.
And
I would
one
It's a
still,
looks
look
I think
good.
I
for
would
me.
still
It's a
take.
look
Yeah.
for
I
me
think I would
too.
still
Like,
take Zuki, but I mean, you have the Nike brand connected to CloneX, so I
The
think
floor-
that's really propping it up.
Floor Azukis look better than floor CloneX.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes
I
out.
Oh,
mean,
definitely.
a picture of my dog's turd looks better than a floor CloneX. I'm sorry.
There
Some
are
of
some
them-
good CloneXs.
There are
though,
some good
I
ones.
think.
Yeah,
Like I
there
think
are at
Andy
the high
said his
end, there
profile. Like
Yeah.
Andy said his PFP is one today, and I was like, oh, that thing is sick.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I guess
some
I
of
just
the
don't
other
really
ones
like
are
the
not
art
good.
style for CloneX. Like they almost look too,
Yeah,
like
it looks like cheap.
too.
It looks cheap.
Yeah, like it's just.
I don't know
I
why.
understand some people that would like it. I just, to me, it doesn't. It's too kiddish almost. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to rock that as my PFP. Like it doesn't represent me. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I like.
I have a thesis that is not really played too much into anything yet, but like, are we going to have a wave of these like kid NFTs at some point? I mean, the only ones we really have seen is like there's the Alphabety, but would Slim Hoods fall into that? I'm not sure if they're considered if those are kids. In that
Clarify
one.
what you mean by kid NFTs, like the target audience.
Yeah, so like
is-
women meta, people are buying them like, oh, I bought this for my girlfriend, my wife, or whatever. So like at some point, I feel like people are gonna start buying NFTs like for their kid.
Kevin Rose said that he bought some some doodles for his daughter.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I think it's just each.
so that's
their own.
doodles maybe. But yeah,
The cute looking
just
ones.
think
I
that
don't
could be a
know.
meta
Cool
that
cats.
comes at some point.
Anything.
Yeah.
I don't know that. Like, there's so many cute PFP projects out there. Like, I feel like there's so many projects that are already cute that could, and it just has to do with whatever animal your kid likes, right? Like, if they like cats, you're buying a cool cat, or if they, I don't know, if they think the doodles are cute, they're buying the doodles. I don't know.
And by the time your kid grows up, like I always think that by the time your kid grows up and like can interact with a
gonna give a
MetaMask, they won't care if it's kiddish
They're not gonna give a
anymore.
shit.
Yeah, like they don't care
Well,
if it's kiddish anymore, right? Like,
Yeah.
like what age would you trust a kid to interact with a MetaMask and all that, right? Like by the time they actually inherit it, they're not really a kid anymore, probably.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Jesse's wondering if like CloneX, remember they had sort of the inside trading before Nike. He's wondering if this sweep is actually in connection to there's news coming and it's happening again, which I think if that comes to fruition, which I'm not saying it won't, that'd be very bad for them as a brand.
It'd be the second time.
If it happened again, like why would you
The
wanna
first
hold one?
time
Was
didn't
it
get a
pretty
lot of
obvious the first
publicity.
time? Like,
yeah.
was it?
yeah.
Well,
There was people that did it.
Was
but,
it
like,
just like I know that like DC, like we've had Matty on, like he bought up
It
a
wasn't-
shit ton right
yeah, but it
before,
wasn't
but
like
I don't
Matty.
think he loved Artifact and all that stuff before, like
Yeah.
beforehand. So was it pretty obvious that
There were some people on
trading went
Twitter that
on?
Mhm.
There's some people on Twitter that like barely bought any NFTs and said like, "Oh, I took out a loan of 50 grand to invest in CloneX,"
Oh my
and that
God.
person's dad worked at Nike or something like that, right? And
Yeah.
and that
And then they
person told
dumped
2
them
of their
all.
friends, and they bought all the
People just
vials,
love to
and they
tell,
dumped them
you know.
2 days later, and they like 4x'd or whatever, but they bragged
Yeah.
about it basically. Like so, it was clearly happening, and
Yeah.
like. As someone who minted a CloneX, a really rare one, and dumped it the day before the Nike news, like it kind of stings, right? Like if I knew Nike was coming, I would have held, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm shocked that you minted a super rare CloneX.
I know.
That's
I got
ridiculous.
lucky.
I'm guessing
sold
there was a
mine the other day.
conversation that was had after that. And they
There
said,
has to be.
okay,
Yeah.
guys, if we're going to partner with you, this is never going to happen again. Like, you're now partnered with one of the biggest brands in the world in Nike. We're not doing this anymore. So keep your lips shut. Like, so I don't know. It could be true. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Hard to
We'll
say.
see.
Cool. Yeah, it should be an exciting week. We have whatever is going to happen with Cool Pets. Like, it'll probably take until Friday at this rate.
Yeah.
And then raid party stuff. So
Yep.
I don't know if there's really much else that's like too big that's popping out this week, but it does seem like
You guys, I guess
Yep.
that was one last thing. You guys expecting anything big for the Super Bowl with Eminem and all those guys? I just saw Bobby.
I don't know
Hunters
if it's gonna be
tweeted,
good
we're
or not.
collaborating with the NFL Super Bowl.
But isn't it like 3 people that are
Oh.
supposed to perform all have apes, right? Like, so there's
Yeah,
speculation
but-
that they're
Eminem, Snoop, and then who's the other one? I don't know.
They all have them. Kendrick
They all
Lamar
have Kendrick.
has one.
Yeah.
I think it'd be
Dr.
cool if
Dre.
they. I think it'd be
I think
cool
it's
if
gonna be
they
sweet if they do.
something,
I
but
mean, it's
yeah.
gonna be crazy.
What are they gonna do that's like gonna be that would be cool?
Other than what Steve Aoki did, like showing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
It's
that's
gonna
I
have
mean,
to
like
be
No,
designed.
you're right.
What if
How
what
do
if
they
like a
make
bunch
it
of
not
people?
cringe?
What if
Yeah.
a bunch of people with ape heads came out like Left
that'd
Shark
be-
when Katy
that-
Perry?
That'd be cool.
Right?
Left Shark, man.
So
That-
there's
Yeah.
gonna be like commercials. I think there was a couple commercials that were talked about. There's one that it's Budweiser's doing it with someone, and it's only available in Decentraland. And then I saw there was another one that just popped up that Meta is doing, the Facebook group. So I think there's going to be a few NFT things going on around the Super Bowl, and I don't know how I feel about it yet.
There'll be
I
a
don't either.
crypto.com one I have to imagine too. They've been
Yeah.
advertising pretty heavily.
Oh yeah. Well, the FTX, crypto.com,
Yeah.
Gemini. Yeah, like those big exchanges are going to be all over the Super Bowl. Like
Yep.
they've been buying rights to like these massive like Staples Center. You don't think they're going to have a Super Bowl too?
Yeah.
Commercial? Yeah.
Why are you unsure how you feel about it, Lou? Like to me, the more people that are aware of NFTs and seeing other people like socially accept them, the better off our bags are going to be, right? Like,
As long as it's
Like-
not cringe.
well,
It's gonna
yeah, but like cringe is like, you know,
Like
we
if
think
they,
everything's cringe because we like being like
I
the
know,
lowbrow
I know.
of society. We like
What
thinking
happens if,
normies are
like-
different than us, but like I think
But that's
us
what they're
winning
doing.
is normies buying our bags at the end of the day, right? Like,
but that's
But
not Bored
A
Apes.
normie's not buying a Bored Ape.
no,
Yeah,
no,
this
but
is
it's
like
getting
showing
people
off
into
your
NFTs
Lamborghini
though,
at a
right?
show.
Like,
Yeah. Well, that's
it's just
that's
making
the
more
thing.
awareness, right? Like it's not getting people to want to buy a Bored Ape. It's getting people to be like, "Wow, NFTs are cool. I'm gonna go buy
It's
a
the
peaceful
idea that I
groupie."
could mint the next Bored Ape is
Yes.
what we need them to think, right? For our exit liquidity.
Yeah, so here's the way that it goes bad is they have the Bored Apes on the screen or something, and the next day some news site does an article like, what were those pictures of those apes? And they're like, okay, these apes are NFTs and they sold for $500,000. That's when you get more of the media reaction of like, this is fucking dumb. People are paying money for JPEGs. These guys are idiots.
Yeah.
Those people already exist. So it just, if we get that spin on it, it all depends on how it's portrayed the next
Right.
day of what were those things that you all saw? Was it, this is really cool and a lot of people are doing it? Or is it, these guys have way too much money
Right.
while you're going to your 9-to-5 job, they're buying a picture of a monkey for $500,000. How does that
Well,
make you feel?
That's what the Jimmy Fallon one got
I was
taken
gonna say,
as with
didn't-
Hilton.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the next day
I saw
all
that
of the posts were
article.
like conflicts
Yeah.
of
The
interest.
article was
and stuff.
ridiculous.
People were saying like,
you're
stop
not
trying to
gonna
shove our
force your
monkeys
apes
down our
on me.
throat.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an
That was
ape.
funny.
Like, chill out. Like, no one's trying to force an ape on your throat.
Yeah.
But
So
no, yeah, it'll be interesting.
I hope it's more subliminal, subliminal.
Yeah, I hope it's not like the giant ape heads. I hope it's like
Yeah.
the background or
Or like,
something.
or like the kid taking a picture at his wedding with like a cardboard cutout of a mutant ape.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that one was so funny. Really just ripping him
Bad.
apart.
So bad.
That would be cool for us to see the whole Left Shark thing. Like, we would all think that's cool.
Oh
But
yeah.
as far as like socializing NFTs and trying to get more people into it, probably not the best. So
I'm trying to think of ways that it could go well, like introducing their NFTs in a non-cringe way, and I'm struggling to
What if
come
they
to
just
it,
had it
but
like on the
I
big
don't know.
screen, like just pictures of it,
That's
like
what I-
flashing,
that's
right?
what
Like
I
that's
think
all
would
I
be
think it would
best.
be. Is like it's
How do
not
they
like
make
shoving
it
it
so
down
it's
anyone's.
not forced though? Like I think there's
Yeah.
Gary V is doing a lot of. I think he runs or does the media and advertising for a lot of like Budweiser, and so I think that there's a pretty high likelihood that we're gonna see commercials specifically with NFTs or pointing people towards NFTs or educating, whatever you want to call it. But in terms of how they incorporate their actual board apes, I don't know.
If they do NFT themed raps, that's not gonna
Oh
be
my
good.
god! Oh my god! I mean, yeah, if it's just like an extension of what happened with Steve Aoki showing like, the entire audience his
And I've seen ones that like
doodle or whatever from his phone, then yeah, hopefully it's not
if
that.
it's just like the artwork behind them or
Yeah.
or stuff like that, or maybe there's like an animated version. Like there have been more of those that have popped up. even,
Yeah.
like the Gwyneth Paltrow one. That was kind of cool. She like took the hat
Yeah.
off and shook her hair around. Like if there's stuff like that, I think it could be cool. But I don't want them to make it too like in your face and like
Yeah.
every Super
Gotta
Bowl
be
halftime
subtle.
show is
It
cringe,
almost
so it's
has
gonna
to
be
be
cringe
subtle.
anyway.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, ape holograms.
Yeah, when hasn't a halftime performance for the
Okay,
Super Bowl
that
been
would
cringe,
actually be
though,
kind
right?
of
Like they
that'd
all
be
been
kind of
cringe.
cool.
That would be like metaverse ones, right? Like you're in the metaverse and they're just walking around. Yeah,
Maybe that's how they start. Maybe they start the show like in a VR set kind of thing,
and it's
and
like
they walk
meta.
around.
Yeah.
The creature world is over there. They switch the mouth. Then they come over to the apes and they see their apes and they like hang out with them. Like I don't know. There's a lot of things they could do, and
No,
I just
yeah.
assume they're gonna do the wrong one.
Yep.
Exactly. I have zero trust that they're gonna do the right thing.
So and I'm expecting that Kevin Durant commercial to pop up. That's one that I was thinking the
For
top
Top
shot
Shot?
Kevin Durant.
During the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think they're
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
that's my
I wouldn't be
They have
surprised.
so much money. They have to
They
be
have
gearing
so
up.
much
I
money.
feel like
They have
that.
so
That's
much
like-
that one's
that's
on,
like one
every app I
backdrop for
hop
them.
on.
to
They
pay
have
for a Super
to.
Bowl
It's like
commercial.
we might as well just throw something at the Super
Yeah,
Bowl because
if
it
I go on
makes
money right
Instagram
now.
or Facebook,
Yeah.
that commercial pops up like immediately for me. Like that it's everywhere now.
Does
Which
it
I don't
make
think that's a bad thing, but-
sense to do an NBA collectibles
No,
commercial
maybe.
during the biggest football game of, like, maybe if they do
2 months
Maybe
prior
they do
to
an NFL all
the
day
playoffs. I think
commercial.
so. I think throwing out a commercial telling people that it, or like making people aware of it before the NBA playoffs and March Madness comes is probably a good idea.
Football
It's
season
just the
probably have
biggest
down,
event in
All-Star
right?
general.
game.
Like if you can
it can't
get
hurt. No, I'm
Yeah.
not saying it'd be bad. I just
I could
know.
see it.
Most
they have so
NBA
much money
fans
that I
are
think
probably
it's
watching
like
the Super
you
Bowl,
shouldn't
right? Like,
not do it,
Yeah.
right?
I feel like the
like, when
Venn
you have-
diagram of that it's probably crosses over pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I'm all for spending the money because I know that Roham has plenty of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
So cool. Well, been a good week. No Dangy here to tell us to take profits or whatever. We could speak
Yeah.
openly about holding things.
Mhm.
So that's been great. Hopefully, I mean, he said he's sick, so hopefully it's not COVID or something bad. But
He's working
be
on his
back.
hot dogs.
He's
Yeah, I know.
building.
Him and Chenko are in the back room.
He's
just
building
going
his
nuts
hot
on-
dog.
Yeah.
Join the hot dog.
Hot
Why
dogs,
can't I
yeah.
It's so hard to
Yeah,
say. I
That's
just
the
wanna
one
say
thing we
hot
didn't
dog.
we didn't actually pump it. We
Join
pumped
the
We have
Discord.
time.
Go
Yeah.
to Discord.
Hot
Bring them
dogs,
up.
man.
Bring up a
Hot
picture
dogs.
of a
Yeah,
hot dog.
do you guys have?
Chenko's actually, he's got his artwork is so sick, like just so dope.
Bring up a hot dog. Show where you can join the Discord or show the Twitter or something, and then we'll piece
We
it.
owe it to them to pump it.
Okay, yeah, the Twitter
I'm not
works.
like I don't even feel bad pumping it because I actually really like the art. Right?
I've-
I would feel bad pumping it if it's some stupid
Yeah.
dangy project that I hated.
I would not pump it if I thought they were down.
Trash or something. Yeah, no.
You want me to share, Lou? I have it pulled
We
out.
have integrity here.
So
Yeah,
much
but,
integrity.
Yeah, if you click on the Twitter banner, it gives a cool preview of the 5 up there.
Yeah, so like the part that's kind of cool on this is it seems like there's a lot of different combos that it could be.
Yeah.
But there's
The
a
trait-
lot of
There's a lot of traits. They're
connected.
cool. Like they're
The
They're
trippy
unique.
guy on the right.
Like the
looks
one of
dope.
one. I don't know if they're just one of ones that are like Babs. You have the baseball one. The baseball one's so cool. Like there's so many baseball fans that would want that, especially like intertwined with hot dogs and like take me out to the ball game type stuff. Yeah.
I
Love
asked
it.
for that trait, so you can
There you go.
me.
There you go.
Creative genius with my art style, right?
Shut up.
Yeah. I mean, what I think will be cool with this is, well, hopefully, like if we're going to critique this like any other ones, like hopefully all of the floor ones don't all look the same. Like it seems like there's enough different traits and combos that the floor ones aren't all just going to look like a normal hot dog. You know, like the hot dog with a hot dog in his mouth. That's going to probably be like a cool trait. It's kind of like,
Well, yeah.
not to go back to like Purrs, but when Purrs had like the cat on its head, like I always thought that was kind of a cool trait.
There's like a hot dog suit one too, like a hot dog suit for a hot
Right.
dog. Like there's
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of like funny ones. Like I like.
Yeah. No, it's good
So-
stuff for sure.
yeah, like things like this. So yeah, if you're interested, like they have the Discord right here, Hot Dogs NFT. Chenko, he's the one that does, we call him the Nope Toads, where he's kind of done his own version of Toads with PFPs that we have. So yeah, he's cool. He's been helping us just do some artwork here and there. Maybe we'll have him on one of these days and he'll chat about some hot
I'm
dogs.
sure we'll probably do a Doug giveaway in the future. Huh?
Yeah.
You gotta imagine.
Cool.
For sure.
Cool. So yeah, well,
Well,
thanks for
maybe if
hopping on.
Danny
Yeah,
only lets us
Monday.
mint 2 on his cheap ass whitelist.
Well,
that
and
what
we
it
won't
is?
let us pump hot dogs on the show either, so we're just gonna have
We're gonna
to,
have to
Yeah, that was our
executive
one
order
chance.
that one.
That was our
Okay, sorry,
chance.
Leo. I'll let you land the plane.
yeah, we'll land it.
Well, yeah, we'll be good. Yeah, thanks for hopping on tonight, Gump. Obviously filling in for Dangy. It looks nicer when there's 4 versus 3 anyway.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
we have to fill that out. So, all right, well, catch you guys next week.